Alright guys, we've got some very early Monster Energy Supercross 25 gameplay here, the new Supercross 25 game by Milestone. Now, before we dive into the game and what it feels like and all that stuff, this is the game here. I do want to say a few things. So, Milestone came to me, contacted me in the late spring, early summer of 2024. They already had a game, and they were asking for input on the development of this game. Now, Milestone did contact multiple other content creators for their feedback, their input on the development of this game. I wasn't the only one, but they were asking for feedback. They already had a game. I did give them as much feedback as I could, and they tried to implement at least some of it. I can see some of the feedback I gave them, but remember, they had input and feedback from multiple other people, and they're obviously trying to do their own game. You know, they want to make their own game and have their own inputs and ideas in it as well. So there were some, we'll talk about them, but yeah, that's how this kind of came to be. And then what you're seeing here, this is a very early build, and there's stuff that for sure will be different. I was able to play 2 different tracks. The rest of them were still under development. I didn't get to see like track editor or all the customization. Some of the riders didn't have like the right numbers maybe, or weren't on the right teams, but that's going to obviously be fixed for the full release. This was, I mean, by the time you see this video, it'll be middle of February, and I was playing it end of November, beginning December 2024. So it's been a while, and obviously there'll be some changes. Now, I don't believe like the core gameplay, the physics will change too much, so probably that's the one thing that won't be different or too different, but we don't really know. So let's jump into it. The Monster Energy Supercross 25, this game is new from the ground up. They're on a new game engine. They've redone the game. We have the 2025 season. This would be A1. Now, all the tracks are obviously going to be modeled after the track map, so it isn't going to be like 3D scanned, you know, they're at the races and doing that. So it will be a bit different. We have A1, we have Glendale, and an original outdoor track by Milestone to show you in this game. This isn't A1. Did I say this is A1? This is Glendale. This is Glendale. My bad. This is Glendale. And I just kind of wanted to show you some time attack riding, the physics, the in-air physics, the whips, the scrubs, and the turning, the cornering, and the track. So here we switch over to a race against the AI at the A1. A1, again, made off the track map, and mostly here what I want to show you, we will talk about the physics, mostly I want to show you the terrain deformation. So we have terrain deformation, working terrain deformation in the game. Now, after playing, I didn't get a ton of time with the game, so my testing was limited, but the terrain deformation does change from lap to lap. I don't know if it'll continue to, you know, rut up even more if you do a longer race, but in a short race, you will see the ruts forming in the corners from myself and the AI. Now, mostly in the corners, I didn't notice it too much on the jump faces or the straightaways, or even in, there's a sand section here, even in that, I didn't really notice too much, but in the corners you will see it, you will feel it. You really need to get into them or avoid them. I mean, but if you ride over them, you cross rut, you feel it on the bike, it's there. It does feel like it might be a little bit predetermined, you know, if you have, like, with the AI is going to take a certain line, right? So you have a inside rut, a middle rut, and an outside rut. And I did this race a few times, and it kind of felt like it was going to be that way no matter what. Now, in a race on multiplayer against people, a longer race, maybe it would be different. I don't really know, but there is definitely terrain deformation, and this is a really good start. This is a really good start, in my opinion. Even if it isn't perfected yet, it is a very good start. It's great to see it in the game and feel it in the game. And if you get in those ruts, the bike doesn't slip out and push out, and you kind of can stay in it and hold that inside line. So, really good start for the terrain deformation. Now I want to go to the physics, because that's, well, I'm going to save physics for last, actually. So the other thing I want to talk about is the track. So specifically the two replicas, I was able to try A1 and Glendale. I was pleasantly surprised. You know, we've seen some tracks where they're not 3D scanned and they weren't the best. These tracks actually came out pretty good. I think the scaling is really good. The tracks feel tighter, they feel more narrow, the jumps don't feel huge, the rhythm sections work really well for the little bit I got to play. So overall, the scaling looks and feels really good in the game. And I was pleasantly surprised with the 2 tracks I was able to try. Now, I didn't get to try all the tracks, but from the 2 I was able to play for this video at the time of this recording, the tracks were really well done in my opinion. Now I want to move on to the physics. This is going to be the bulk of the video and what everybody wants to know about. So when I jumped into the game, I was completely shocked. I couldn't turn the bike. Like, I couldn't turn the bike whatsoever. I mean, well, you could a little bit, but it was very difficult to turn the bike because the ground physics are different. The way you turn the bike is different. And I want to start there, work our way from the ground up into the air physics. So the ground physics, if you just turn, you have the left stick for the bike, right stick for the rider. If you just lean in the direction you want to turn, you can turn the bike, but not very tight. It's more of a wide turn. What you have to do, and it didn't take very long, and there is a tutorial, but what you have to do, especially on the Supercross tracks, is remember how you had to push the thumbsticks together, pull them apart to do the whip? You have to push the sticks together to turn the bike tighter, depending on how you're turning. Pull them apart, push them together, whatever. And that's how you get the bike to turn easier. And then, for example, when you get into a rut, to start it, you kind of push the sticks together to turn the bike, but then you just kind of normal lean, you know, left or right to kind of round out the rut. So it sounds more complicated than it really is. Once I was able to try for a while, it wasn't that big a deal, but that was way different than what it initially was. Now, kind of moving on to the in-air physics, they are free. No push the sticks together, pull them apart to do the whip. No accidental whip for me. That happened to me more often than not. I know it doesn't happen to many people, but it used to happen to me all the time. No push the sticks together whip. We have free in-air physics. Now, you can scrub if you go up the faces of a jump and lean into left or right direction. You can scrub. And you can just whip. If you use more of the left stick, you can do more of a whip kind of. And then if you lean both of them off the face of a jump in a direction, you kind of get more of a scrub going. So they are free. They feel pretty good. It took a while to get used to. Not too long, but a little while because the game is different. We haven't had a milestone game really like this ever. I mean, the physics were probably closest to free in MXGP 1 very long time ago. So I'm happy to see this. This was feedback that I gave them and input I gave them that the community has been asking and wants totally free in-air physics, and they've done it. They've given us totally free in-air physics. Now, they're in a really good spot. I believe they have a good start. I think they could improve them a little bit. I think that what I would like to see are 2 things. I wish that I don't really know what to say, like the speed, the rotation speed of whips and scrubs. I wish they were a tiny bit faster, just so I could scrub or whip a little bit bigger off of some of the smaller jumps, not like just the Supercross triples or whatever. And I would like to see some animations, maybe more animations, improved animations for when you're actually scrubbing. I think the rider... It looks okay, but I think the rider could have a little bit better body position when you're scrubbing. Not necessarily when you're whipping, but when you're trying to scrub. So those would be 2 main things that I would like to see in the future or improved upon before full release or whatever. But I would say that they did take some of the feedback I gave them. Again, it was about terrain deformation, which they got in here. Again, I don't know. We already talked about it. How it'll be different in multiplayer versus just against the bots, comparing the 2, and the free physics. We have the free physics. They've completely free physics this time, and I think they have a good start. I think they're headed in the right direction. The game, in my opinion, this would be the one one of the original tracks by Milestone here. I think it's called Extraterrestrial Valley. So I think they have a good start. I think they're heading in the right direction, and I'm glad to see them trying to do something different. Now, I will say that when you play the game, it is new from the ground up, but I do believe if you have played a Milestone game, you still would know this is a Milestone game, and you will feel at home if you like the way that those games kind of play, even with the completely different ground physics and in-air physics. Again, the ground physics were the biggest adjustment for me. Not that they're bad, it's just that they're so different. The ground physics are so different in how you have to turn the bike. Now, again, I don't have a ton of time in the game. I'm not the best, okay? I'm not the best, and probably there's faster ways is what I'm trying to say. Faster ways around the track and whatnot, but I was just trying to get a feel for it and show it to you the best I could and try to explain it the best I can. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. I don't know what other videos I'll be able to have for you aside from this one for early gameplay and talking about the game and stuff, but thank you, Milestone, for allowing me the opportunity to show this game to the community and talk about it and showcase what you guys can expect to see or what you can expect it to be like when it actually comes out. So you guys, girls, absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.